So I actually graduated from high school early in October from Peter Highland Center. And when we graduate in October, rather than graduating in June like everyone else, you don't really have the same support in terms of people helping you choose a college or choose a career. So I knew that for sure I wanted to go to college and either somehow be a doctor or a lawyer. I just wasn't sure how I was going to do it. At the time, I was living with my cousin, and she gave me two options. One, I could either apply to Lee College, or two, I could move out. So, of course, that night I went and I applied to Lee College, and the rest is history.
Hey y'all, I came to Lee College because I was raised right around the corner in Mont Bellevue, or Mont Smellview, as my daddy calls it, because we're all too familiar with the smell of money around here, right? And I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I have whoa. Okay. You got it? Okay. I have an as of today 5-year-old daughter, and at the time she was 3, so I didn't know what I was gonna do. I was living with, or still am, living with my grandmother, and I was tired of working in a job that I hated. At the time I was a pharmacy tech, and yeah, it's just terrible, guys, awful. So I was like, okay, my grandma had mentioned Lee College is right around the corner, and I decided to apply. I didn't know what I was gonna go for. Everyone had mentioned, nursing, process technology, and to me this was all just foreign language, because I didn't know what I was gonna do. But I applied, and I got accepted, and I decided to go with process tech. And ever since I've come here, it's just been home, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Lee College has changed my life.
Amazing.
Hello, I came to Lee College because I'm a certified nursing assistant. So we all know that don't pay no money. And basically I was sick of wiping, but I still do it now, but that's the gist of the job. Period. But I came to Lee College because I'm a mother and I have 8 kids. And I wanted to have a foundation for my children. Also, you can't really do too much nowadays without an education. So I settled to come into Lee College.
I came to college because as a young student, I dreamt about becoming a lawyer, a doctor, a teacher, someone big, someone who was going to make it, someone who could support their family. And later on, going into high school, you not only see the competition, but you see that as a minority, you are ignored and you are suppressed. And so I came to the college because I didn't know what to do with my life anymore, but I knew that I wanted to further my education. Lee College was the only school that offered to help with applying and transitioning from high school to college. I knew where I stood, and I also knew where I wanted to stand. And Lee presented itself as an institution that would enable me to start my journey.
I came to college for many reasons. For a community college, I live an hour away from any community college, much further if it's a university. So Lee College was kind of the closest one, and that doesn't really define the reason, the sole reason why I came. I live in Liberty, and as most of y'all may know, there's a Liberty Lee College Center there, and I wasn't really sure. My grades weren't always stellar. I barely knew English, and I was confused most of the time, and I didn't really have anybody to look up to. Most of my friends and family members I grew up with, they were strong, but then they faded away. They dropped college, dropped out of high school, and so most of it I didn't really have high standards, and at the house, I didn't really feel like I was no one. I was just like everybody else, and it's not that I wanted to feel special, it's just that I wanted to do something with my life and not just survive. I wanted to live. And coming into college, I was very welcomed, and it was very affordable. I really couldn't afford anything else, and they really helped me out. And although it was the most inexpensive, the quality here of teachers is still up to par, and it has helped me in many ways with many organizations, and that's the reason I came, and it helped a lot.
Great job. Rosendo, we're going to go back to you.
Well, as for me, I really had to work full time most of the time to support my family. I didn't really grow up in a wealthy family. We usually had our seats as tables to eat, and we would sit on the ground. And so I had to work full time all the time. And to pay for college, it really was difficult because it was more of a tug of war between college and work. Work required me more time, and so did college, because I needed to get good grades to get scholarships. Otherwise, I was going to drop out of college. And so it was very difficult to decide whether I should stick to work more because my family needed me, or to go to college so I could do something with my life. And making that decision really was difficult for me. But at the end of the day, I was very grateful that I went with getting good grades, because I was able to get scholarships and I didn't have to worry about paying for tuition. And I was able to work and provide support, but as well dedicate more time to college.
Some challenges that I faced as a student were finding the inspiration to keep doing the things that are expected the way that they are expected. As a young kid, as a young girl, I knew that I needed to make money and make money fast, because I wanted to dream, dreams were going to cost you. So my uncle opened up a business, and I started working there at 13. A tortilleria. If you don't know what that is, it's a place where they make tortillas and they sell a lot of stuff. So I started working there, and it was super hot in the back. And I worked there for 4 years, and that's how I saved up to start the journey. I did that because people kept telling me life is hard, but I didn't realize that they were just talking about the tip of the iceberg. I felt that they couldn't even begin to make me understand how I was going to feel working at such a young age, because nobody can ever make you understand how hard life is, no matter how many times they tell you, no matter how many experiences they tell you about. Nobody will ever make you understand the things that you will have to put yourself through to be able to stand where you need to stand.
Some of the challenges I faced here at Lee College was my academics and my pride. When I first came to Lee College, I bombed. I did not do well at all. I really just was like, oh well. Outside of life, I had a lot of other things going on, but I really wasn't focused. And most of it was due to pride. I felt like I'm not reaching out for nobody's help. I didn't know half of the stuff, but instead of me asking or staying back, utilizing the resources that was there, I didn't bother. It was just like, oh well. So throughout my journey this time, I learned, to utilize the resources. I didn't know of many resources that it wasn't made available to me. I basically went to Rundell Hall. I basically got enrolled, and I met with advising, and it was like, you need to take this, and this. Okay, that's what I needed to take, and I did horrible. I was an F student. But when I came back this time, I was more focused, and I ran into TRIO, and that program really they pushed me, and I stopped being so prideful. Like, they started talking to me and telling me that I didn't have to be ashamed of anything, and actually I did very well. So that was one of my biggest challenges I faced here.
Some of the challenges I've faced since I've got here have had to do with multiple things, money being one. But thanks to the help of Project Leeway, I've been able to get transportation assistance, textbook assistance, and childcare. Instead of paying $140 a week in childcare, I don't have to pay anything, and that is so helpful. And I thank Lee College for that. I'm so sorry. And also, realizing that I have more potential than I think. I tend to doubt myself often, and it's intimidating, colleges, and each class is hard, and it's not given to you easily. So, telling myself that I can do this and I'm not gonna fail, I refuse to fail, has helped me through it, because that's probably the hardest thing I've had to deal with before money, is just reminding myself that I can do this, and remembering to have faith in myself, because I think that's something that we all really forget to do sometimes. So, yeah.
Something difficult that I faced as a student was going through depression and anxiety while going to college full-time and also working full-time. When you go through depression, it's hard to want to wake up in the morning and get ready for the day. And when you have anxiety, it's hard to be able to speak in front of people because you don't want to say or do the wrong thing in class. You don't want people to judge you. You don't want your professors to judge you even. It's almost like critiquing every piece of yourself. Luckily for me, though, there were people like Jordan Ward and Jody Rodriguez who waved at me every single time I walked into John Brett Hall. People like Joe Ganakos, who would constantly teach me how to tie my tie for the millionth time in a row. People like Kareem Wardy, who gave me a book on international relations when I told him I was into global affairs. Dr. Tran, remembering my name and giving me a hug at every event she saw me in, or even when she just saw me in the hallway. And even people from the custodial staff, like Eva, who took the time to talk to me every single time I left the library and would always remind me, si hay querer, hay poder. If there's a want, there's a way. So from people all the way down the custodial staff and all the way up to the VP, everyone in between, is what really made waking up in the morning so much easier and going to classes even better. Yeah, so of course, because of all the relationships that I made at Lee College, but also the very first class that I ever took at Lee College was with Clarissa Martinez. And I realized after taking my first class here that staying another semester honestly just felt right. Clarissa Martinez, she was really proud to work at Lee College. She would always talk to us about wearing red on Wednesdays, and every time we would do so, she would bring us popsicles or a phone case even. And so seeing Professor Martinez passionate about Lee, it really made me want to keep coming, and it made me passionate about Lee also. And there's a reason why I still wear red every Wednesday, even whenever I'm not on campus.
I stayed at Lee College because my first semester, I had two professors, Professor Chance and Professor Dyer. Let me tell you a little bit about them. Professor Chance has a southern drawl that could put a crackhead to sleep, but he is one of the sweetest men I've ever met in my life. And then Professor Dyer, well, his sense of humor is far greater than his drawing abilities, guys. It's a laugh every day. But they showed me that learning can be so much more than just sitting there and just listening to someone talk. You're laughing throughout class, or they're passionate about what they do. And being able to see them passionate about what they do makes me believe and that they truly care if we pass or not. They care about what they're teaching us. And high school wasn't like that. Come on. It's like, okay, let's get these kids through the day so we can go home. But here, it's like, okay, you've got an hour and 15 minutes. Let me get in as much as I can, but make sure that they fully grasp it. And because of those two in particular, I stayed in process technology, and I'm pursuing a career in that. And I just can't thank them enough for really bringing that love of learning back to me.
The reason why I stayed at Lee College is because this is a place, the only place that really just felt like family and gave me a foundation. I gotta pay homage to my Trio family. Go Trio! Yes! Trio, the ladies, the students there are so amazing. Whether it was I needed a shoulder to lean on, come and check on me in class, like when I'm going to the bathroom and I was going to Professor Whitlow class, and Miss Ashley and Miss Kemp and them all was like, "Hi, Kim, I don't know where you going?" And I was like, "I'm just going to the bathroom and going back to class." See, if I needed a book, if I needed to learn how to effectively communicate with my professors, transportation, any type of issue, 24/7, they were there. And I can't thank Lee College enough, because without programs like Trio, Project Leeway, Quinta, all of those programs for people like me that didn't see themselves getting an associate's degree, transferring, or even looking further to becoming a doctor, it wouldn't have been made possible. So that's why I stayed at Lee, because it feels like family. It is my family. They're my family, and it gave me a foundation for my children as well.
I stayed at Lee because every time I come here, I find myself with the same happiness I felt when I was a kid on the very first day of school. It not only became a place I felt good about coming to, but because of the Puente program, I met some amazing people. Miss Victoria Marone, that could make a book, the book that we were reading that day in class, or the article that we were reading that day in class. She would look at me when I wanted to say something about what we were reading, and she would stare at me and look straight into my soul. And she would, with her eyes, let me know, I feel what you're talking about. I understand what you're saying. And look, you're not only right, but you have come so far with every glare that she gave me. Also, Ms. Georgianne Ward, who not only made you feel and understand what the author was talking about, but made you relate to what the author felt while writing what the author was writing. I also met Mr. Pounds, our Puente counselor. He became one of the realest people that I have ever met, because not only did he come to me as a counselor, but he came to me as a human being, relating himself to not precisely every problem or situation that I was in, but knowing that I would get through that situation because he knew that I had it in me. And he and those three people are the reasons why I believe that we are all the same person, just different versions of it. At Lee, I found the family I never knew I needed.
So the reason I stayed at Lee was because, like every member here has said, it makes them feel very welcoming and like part of the family. In the same way it has affected me, I really felt welcome, and it ain't really just because of the accomplishments that you can achieve here. Like, for example, for me, I got an associate's degree instead of just getting a minor, as how they would put it at universities. And other reasons, I was also uh, given the offer to maintain my knowledge in STEM courses through tutoring at the Learning Hub. And I really thank them a lot because I actually was scared to tutor. I was very nervous. I was struggling with the classes, so I was thinking, why me? Why me? Why would I be able to explain to students if I barely struggled through it? And the faculty there are really amazing, and they help me in many ways, and also the coworkers, the other tutors, and they told me as I was getting hired that it's because I struggled that it would make me a better tutor, because I know what it's like for them to struggle and really after spending all the time and still not understanding a subject. And it really has helped me explain better. And also the reason I stayed is because when I tutor, it makes me feel happy. And also knowing that I make those kids happy and understanding in different ways. And they always be telling me that they never really had a tutor like me. They would just explain it kind of like teachers would. But the way I would explain it, I would simple it down in terms. I would make relationships with sports, any kind of hobbies they're related to. That way you can stick to them. Because everybody learns differently. And it's really and truly the people there that really made me stay. They're very amazing. And they'll find out if you're feeling down one day. They will bug you about it until you're happy again. And I really thank you all for that.
We're going to start with you again, Rosendo. We've talked about some of the biggest challenges, but now tell us about what's been one of your greatest accomplishments.
Well, I really don't like to boast about myself. But I would say really just overcoming the challenges in my house. Like I said, mentioned before, I grew up and I have an older sister and other siblings. And they were studying and some dropped out. And my parents really had all their faith in my other siblings, and they really thought I was kind of a loser because I didn't really was good at anything, and I really just didn't listen to that. I really focused on myself, and even though nobody in the household really supported me, I believed in myself, and I'd say that would be one of my greatest accomplishments because now they're asking me for favors, and they're needing help with everything, and now another issue that I'm dealing with is the peer pressure that they're giving to me now. And I would say also to elevate those around me in any way that I can. I used to work at a Walmart, and a lot of coworkers there really needed help with financial literacy. They would spend like $20 on one single lunch and really go home with nothing to spend, and they would spend all their money on wants rather than needs. So I helped a lot, and a lot of my coworkers with that, and that made me really happy, not only knowing that they're safe if I'm not there, because they already know how to handle their money, but also what makes me happy is that I know that they can pass it on, and I know that they will help others learn how to handle their money, and it's not really just money related. The reason why I also became a tutor, not to maintain the knowledge, is because I really like teaching someone that will teach someone else. And growing up, I really don't teach it in a way that if I teach it, they have to come back for me for more help. I'd rather teach them in a way where they can teach themselves. So really and truly, I'm not really teaching them how to get the answers for a subject, but really it's how to learn. And being able to do that really makes me feel accomplished. And one of my long-term goals is to make an extension program that will help step by step, either that will deal mostly and focused on life skills rather than academic skills, because college already helps a lot with that in many programs, and which I am really grateful. But helping others and continuing to do that and not changing who I am just because of someone's attitude or character is what I would say one of my greatest accomplishments.
Some of my greatest accomplishments have been graduating high school and enrolling in a college. As a Mexican immigrant and as a minority, to be able to say I graduated from a U.S. public high school and to say I enrolled in college feels amazing. It feels like you're on your way and there's nothing that can stop you. Sorry, I lost my place. Alongside that, becoming a part of the Student Puente Club and becoming a part of the Puente program, and being able to help others learn about the amazing resources the Puente program has to offer, also makes me feel very human. It makes me feel like I can help somebody in ways that I needed help with when I was there. I see myself, and I feel like I'm telling them, hey, look, I'm reaching out. You can grab my hand, and I can lead you, and I can tell you what to do, and I can explain why you're doing it. And paying it forward as someone who knows the struggle becomes special and so encouraging to keep doing it.
My greatest accomplishment is up here on this stage, seeing all of my 8 kids cheering. My mama, look at my mama, yay mama, when I got my degree, baby. The best feeling in the world coming from where I came from. And I didn't always have it easy. That was the biggest accomplishment, no greater feeling. For Lee College to give me that foundation and for all 8 of my babies to see you could come from nothing. You can go through all types of havoc and look at your mama. That is the biggest and the greatest accomplishment ever. So I just want to say thank you to everybody that played a part in my journey and for helping me lay the foundation for my babies so I can see them graduate from college and a university.
Some of my greatest accomplishments have come in my first year here at Lee. I used to have very bad social anxiety. I was not good at talking to people. It was awkward, always. And I was able to overcome that in some of my first classes. A lot of the people that were in there with me, we all joked around a lot, and we helped each other throughout the course. So that helped me get past that, and even landed me a job in the call center with Diana Aslan. And since I've been working with her, so many opportunities have become available for me. Like this coming up semester, I get to be a peer mentor with Jessica Fala. And I never thought I'd be able to do that. Like, I get to help other people learn? What? Me? It's crazy. I also got to go to a mental health training with Miss Rosemary Coughlin. It was amazing. And y'all gotta go. That's all I gotta say. It's amazing. And of course, being here with you guys, like, if you would have told me a year from now, hey, you're gonna be sitting in front of the entire faculty and staff and telling them about yourself and your story, I'd been like, no. I don't think so. And I think this is probably my number one. I was able to start up a debutinizer system in under 2 minutes. And let me tell you, that's a great feeling, guys. Amazing.
So whenever I was in the 7th grade, my mom got deported, and for a little bit we were living in Mexico. I used to wake up every morning at 4 a.m. to cross the border and go to school in the United States by myself. So walking across the graduation platform and having Dr. Brown seemingly hand me my degree, and it kind of reminded me of whenever I used to hand my credentials to the Border Patrol officer. So being that little kid, crossing the border, to being the adult I am now, crossing the graduation platform, is probably my biggest accomplishment.
What great accomplishments, wow. Final question before we go to faculty and staff. Final question. I wish Lee College community I wish the Lee College community would know what.
I wish the Lee College community would know that people need to know about programs like TRIO, programs like Puente, on the honors program. Coming into Lee College, you don't really know, especially if you're coming into Lee College like someone like me who wasn't the best in high school. We don't know a lot about these programs that could actually help us. We know we have a destination. We want to be a lawyer or a doctor, but we don't know how to get there. Being a part of TRIO for me, it really helped me a lot because I had Kelly Emerson sit down with me and connect me with a lot of people and really give me the support and advice that I needed to help get me to my goal. So I feel that it would be really beneficial if more students knew about the programs that Lee College offered.
I wish that Lee College knew that so many of your students are struggling with anxiety and depression and so many mental difficulties that just don't show. Some people, it's easy to tell when they get worked up, they tap their foot or they just stop talking to you, but it's something that many of us struggle with, and I feel like sometimes it's just difficult to see, and I feel like it'd be beneficial for the Lee College community to be able to understand the signs and symptoms of each of these, or just like a multitude of them, because we aren't going to come up to you and say, hey, I have really bad anxiety. Can I talk to you about this? So being able to recognize them and come up to us and say, hey, how's your day been going? Is everything all right? It would mean a lot, because my first semester here, my anxiety was terrible. Anytime we went out to the pilot plant, I started freaking out because I didn't know what anything was, and I was like, I don't know what kind of valve that is, but he does, and just for everyone to understand that it's there, not in everyone, but the ones that are struggling, to be able to point it out and say, hey, I'm here to help you, and if you need anything, just come and talk to me, or you can refer them to people that do know how to handle that. It's just something I feel would be really important for the college community.
I agree with them. The things that I wish that Lee College knew was like Miguel, and she also said, is that the programs and the resources that are out there for the students, the Learning Hub, of course my TRIO, Puente, mental health resources, Project Leeway, all of those are efficient and contribute to the success of the student itself. The student is more than just a face. I know it can be stressful, I know it's a lot, and that you all are on a tight schedule, but just to stop, even if something looks a little odd, just the littlest thing makes the difference to us, just like the littlest compliment to you all may brighten your day. Prime example, my philosophy class with Professor Cookson, one of my classmates, she had actually contemplated suicide. Just sitting there, she never really said too much to anybody, but she would miss a couple of days, and we would all talk to each other and amongst each other, about, hey, this is this, or has anyone seen her? And just me asking her, are you okay? And she wrote on my tablet, that she was going to end her life. That makes a big difference, just stopping. Professor Cookson was outside grading papers, but she stopped immediately when I went out there and I told her, about the situation. Just making those resources, even if it's just a minute or two out of your class day, hey, we have numerous resources on campus. We have the web. Some people, like me, at first, I never checked Blackboard. I found it highly efficient as I went along in my journey, and it helped me a lot. I constantly got reminders from them, hey, did you check your Blackboard? I call that mission sometimes. Did you check your Blackboard? know, that might be useful. I need to go and check that. You know, just even, hey, it's fair game, it's honesty. I'm honest, I'm gonna be honest as I can, you know. But just even putting that out there, just saying, hey, we do have a magnificent program. We have so many opportunities for you all to take advantage of. And even, you know, hey, my hours are posted, you know, even just reminding just a little bit helps and it goes a long way. So thank you all once again. That's all I have.
I wish Lee College knew that students need a more personalized counseling meeting. When I first entered Lee College, I was not a Puente student. I went to my regular counselor, and he told me what I needed to do to register for classes, and that was it. I was fresh out of high school student. I didn't even know what I wanted for lunch that day. Needless to say, I was confused, and I didn't even know what questions to ask for me to be able to understand what he was talking about. I felt dumb because in my head, I was like, high school students understand what all these words mean? Maybe I don't belong here. Maybe this is harder than I thought it would be. I felt like a blind woman trying to walk without a cane. About a week later, I get a call from our then Puente counselor, Michael Pounds. He talked to me about the fact that I had shown interest in the Puente program and that he wanted to help me register for classes. He did way more than that. He not only helped me register for classes as a Puente student, he explained why I was taking each class. He printed out my degree plan and showed me what I had to do and how I could do it. He answered questions that I didn't even know I had to ask. After that meeting, I knew where I was going, how I could get there. I was no longer a blind woman, and I felt like I could see my future.
So as for me, I have very little left to say because they said it all. But I wish they knew that coming from a very shy, introverted student, although I'm sitting here now, that really bouncing out and scaring students like, hey, there's Puente program, hey, there's a TRIO program, that it really works because I'm a TRIO student. And a TRIO really has helped me in a lot of ways. I really don't like opening up about myself, but I would say thanks to TRIO, actually up here, speaking about myself. And because they helped me feel very comfortable in opening up, that has helped me make decisions which university is the best place for me. I'm not really into the big schools like UT and A&M because of the school to teacher ratio. And that's just an example of how they help. They also help very in personal matters. And that really comes a long way. And that's one of the things I really like that Lee College does. And I just want to say that I wish Lee College knew how important it is and to maintain and continue doing that. And it really just has helped me also from dropping out because as a student, as a first generation student, not really knowing what college is or how it's supposed to work or how to make the most out of it, it can get really confusing and overwhelming, especially when your grades aren't really stellar, and it makes it really all hard. So thank you, Lee College, and I wish you knew that it really is important and continue to do so.
As I said earlier, you are dream makers. Makers for
thank you all, on behalf of all the students. I know y'all don't get told very often how much we appreciate y'all, but I can say for myself personally and for these men and women that we thank you all because you all made a difference. And I wouldn't have an associate's degree going for my bachelor's. Thank y'all so much. I wish y'all a great fall semester and many more opportunities for Lee College and for a lot of the programs that you all advocate for and go to the Board of Regents for. Because we need more stuff. And hopefully we get that commercial, huh, Dr. Brown? And a van too. We need some vans.
Panelists, thank you very, very much. This here is what the power of education is. This is what it is. Because of individuals like you, through my community college, on to my university, I was able to pass it on to my family. And I'm proud to say that this past year, Baby Ray, who started off at a community college, this past year he graduated with his bachelor's degree in business from the University of Texas at San Antonio. So congratulations, Baby Ray. Thank you for having us, panelists. Be dismissed.